Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into part 5 of the IPv6 security tutorial by Virtualization Options LLC. They're a technology research and advisory group out of Colorado. Now, if you're a network engineer or a cybersecurity pro and you've got IPv4 down cold, but you're still kind of figuring out the IPv6 transition, you are in the exact right place. We are skipping the basics today and zooming straight into a super critical, honestly fascinating topic from Chapter 5, ICMPv6 attack vectors. Let's get into it. So, I want you to think about this for a second. What happens when your absolute best security habit suddenly becomes your biggest network liability? If you've been securing networks for years or even decades, you've got muscle memory, right? You've built these baseline best practices that just work, keeping the bad guys out. But, well, technology shifts. And sometimes the exact instincts that make you a stellar network defender can actually introduce catastrophic risks. Today, we're challenging a really deeply ingrained assumption about network security, and it all comes down to how we handle control messages. Okay, let's dive into this. For years, your battle-tested IPv4 security practice, that classic default deny reflex, has been to just outright block ICMP at the perimeter. You know the drill. We treated it as unnecessary noise, or worse, a recon tool for attackers. Dropping it at the edge was just standard operating procedure. But the IPv6 reality, it is vastly different. In IPv6, ICMPv6 is not an optional troubleshooting tool. It's mandatory. You literally cannot just block it. The whole architecture relies entirely on these messages to function. And that brings us to a really stark, unavoidable truth that Virtualization Options points out. In IPv6, this approach flat out breaks the network. I really want to emphasize the severity here. Taking your old IPv4 default deny logic and slapping it onto ICMPv6 isn't just, a minor misconfiguration. It's a critical, self-inflicted failure. If you block this protocol at the perimeter, everything halts. Devices can't communicate, path discovery fails. You're basically launching a denial of service attack on your own infrastructure. So yeah, it demands a serious paradigm shift. So this creates what we call the filtering challenge. Since the protocol isn't optional, we can't just rely on those simple blunt force perimeter blocks anymore. A mandatory protocol requires a totally new approach to abuse prevention. You're essentially forced to leave the front door unlocked for certain traffic, because without it, the house just doesn't work. But obviously, an unlocked door means attackers know exactly which channel to use to hit your internal hosts. The old playbook is gone, which means we have to completely rethink and modernize our defenses. Let's isolate a specific threat just to see how this plays out in the real world. Take type 128 ICMPv6 echo requests. In the IPv4 days, you just drop incoming echo requests and call it a day. But attackers? They know you can't do that aggressively anymore without breaking IPv6. So they also know a lot of admins will just throw their hands up and let all ICMPv6 traffic through. Because of that, type 128 can easily be exploited to just overwhelm and flood your hosts. It's kind of the perfect storm. A mandatory message type gets weaponized into a massive volumetric flood attack, all because the attacker knows you're too afraid to block it. Which naturally leads us to the million-dollar question. If ICMPv6 cannot simply be blocked, how on earth do we actually protect the network? I mean, if our primary shield, that trusty outright drop rule, has been taken away by the protocol's own architecture, what do we replace it with? How do we stop the floods and the spoofing without bringing our own operations to a grinding halt? Well, the answer lies in rearming ourselves with a much more sophisticated toolset. We have to shift our focus toward truly securing the mandatory protocol itself. We're moving away from the era of static, blanket access control lists and stepping into an era of nuanced, modernized strategies. To do IPv6 right, your network edge has to be intelligent. It needs to understand the context of the traffic flowing through it, not just look at the protocol type. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we need to do. Virtualization Options lays out 3 essential mitigations to replace that old default deny rule. First up, we must implement rate limiting. Second, we've got to validate packet too big, or PTB messages. And third, we need to deploy stateful firewalls capable of really deep inspection. And let's be clear, these aren't just polite suggestions. These are the mandatory defensive postures you've got to adopt if you want to survive the IPv6 transition without leaving your perimeter wide open. When we map these defenses directly to specific threats, you start to see this highly targeted, comprehensive strategy emerge. For echo request floods, the mitigation is rate-limiting ICMPv6 right at the perimeter. For malicious or spoofed errors, like when an attacker tries to inject fake network issues, the fix is to validate PBT messages against your active connections. And for unsolicited traffic, the key is correlating those errors with existing sessions. See, we're not swinging a sledgehammer anymore. We're using a scalpel. We're matching the exact right countermeasure to the exact vulnerability. Let's unpack these a bit more, starting with rate limiting. This is really about providing flood protection at the perimeter by controlling the volume of the traffic, rather than just outright denying it. You remember that old habit of dropping ICMP echo requests entirely? Yeah, this is its direct replacement. You allow the traffic, so the protocol actually functions, but you slap a strict speed limit on it. So if an attacker tries to use type 128 messages to swamp your host, the rate limiter jumps in and absorbs the flood, while still letting those legitimate, low-volume operational messages pass through perfectly fine. Now, what's really fascinating here is the concept of stateful firewall correlation. This is the practice of verifying that ICMPv6 errors actually belong to existing active sessions before you take any action on them. And this requires real intelligence. Attackers absolutely love to inject spoofed errors, like tossing a fake packet too big message at you just to tear down your connections. But a stateful firewall, it acts like an incredibly smart bouncer. When an error rolls up, the firewall checks its internal state table and asks, wait, do I actually have an active connection that matches these addresses? If it's a no, it knows it's a spoof and it just drops it. It completely stops attackers from manipulating your sessions from the outside. So the crucial point we're driving at here is this. Intelligent filtering is always greater than default deny. IPv6 security flat out demands nuanced, state-aware inspection. A blunt instrument just isn't going to cut it anymore. You really have to upgrade your mindset and your equipment to inspect traffic dynamically. We're talking firewalls that truly understand the state of a connection, and perimeter devices that can throttle traffic instead of just blindly killing it. The days of simply blocking control protocols, those are officially over. So, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative question about your own infrastructure. Are your perimeter firewalls actually prepared to statefully correlate ICMPv6, or are they still out there blindly relying on IPv4 logic? It is a make-or-break question, because as we've seen in this explainer, the old rules don't just fail to protect you in IPv6, they actively break your network. So take a hard look at your perimeter defenses. Make sure they have the intelligence you need for rate limiting and state validation, because trust me, attackers are already counting on the fact that you might be stuck in the past. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and keep learning.